they tend to hold in everything that's going on and think that the world can't see it. Even if you're not letting it out, your body shows it, your face shows it, your skin shows it. There's a lot that can go in reflection. But I tell people, like, your hair is something that can say what's going on.
You're listening to the Hot Seed Podcast.
The Hot Seed.
Welcome to the Hot Seed Podcast, All Black Everything, Volume 3. I'm your boy Sean Xavier, along with my co-host Earl.
What's going on?
Dave. Yes, sir. And you know what it is. We're just dads with mics, gaming with headsets, and a whole lot of unfiltered conversation. And this All Black Everything series is presented by All Black Everything 24/7, 365. Episode 3. And I am pleasantly proud to introduce our guest, the lovely Miss Angie Boyd. I ain't gonna give her a whole government name. Of course, you guys can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Hot Seed Podcast. And of course, listen, like, rate, review, share, and most importantly, enjoy on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, wherever you get your favorite shows. And, watch us on YouTube because that's where it's the most fun. And that's where we're at. And you can see our beautiful faces. Welcome, folks. Welcome back. How are we doing?
Nice.
Nice.
At least I'm doing nice. I don't know about y'all.
Ask me about halfway through this show, and I will tell you how I'm feeling.
Okay, well, we'll review that answer a little bit later then.
Fair enough. Gentlemen, how are we, man? Happy Father's Day again. Happy Father's Day to all you guys.
Yes, I suck. I'm so sorry. Happy Father's Day to all of y'all.
Oh no, you good. It's a regular boy. Juneteenth weekend, it's not even Father's Day weekend, but we're gonna keep it.
Well, I just recently heard a joke. They were saying that, Mother's Day, we get like all the accolades and excite, and y'all kind of get the leftovers. So I don't want to jump on that bandwagon. So like,
Angie, is that a joke though?
No, not at all. Like, I'll get the clearance stuff, after the fact, here's some flowers for you, But no, happy Father's Day.
We get the barbecue that we cook at.
Right, exactly. that part.
Actually, I went to Walrus. Barbecue, so it was great. It was great. How was your weekend, fellas? How was your weekend, man? Anything?
I mean, you said it. I was barbecuing all day. Didn't expect to do that. So he tried to hit me with that again today.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Father's Day hit you with it, and then the enslavement day.
As
far as emancipation from that enslavement, you back on. Okay, all right. Well,
you just chained to that grill.
I didn't want to be.
I don't like that at all.
I didn't want to be.
My people go.
I sure didn't want to be, but yeah, you're right. Chained to the grill.
What it is, man.
Oh,
Happy
man.
Father's Day.
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, I went and saw Flash with two of my three, and the missus and whatnot, and the family. And then after that, I went to Walrus, man, the oyster and ale house. Yep. So that was good stuff. I didn't cook a damn thing. It was great. I drank and stuff like that.
I know on my side, on Friday, as y'all know, we played in the golfing tournament.
Yes.
Sponsored by us.
The
Hot Seed Podcast. It was a great time. Honestly, my best golf game ever in life. I wish we were recording. But it was just an awesome time. Awesome experience. See the kids out there volunteering, helping out, seeing all the different organizations that were out there representing the Fort Washington alumni chapter for the Kappas. That's who holds the event each and every year. Of course, the team that we were sponsoring won the whole tournament. So, just a little bit of bragging rights.
Yep.
And then kind of shot away for the weekend real quick and then shot back up. So, and I didn't have to cook. So that right there already let me know I'm good. I don't need no presents. I don't need nothing. I don't need the thing that's going to sit in the side in that little cabinet that I never opened until that very next year. I don't need none of that. Just the fact that I was able to relax, have a good time. That was it. I'm very simple. So good weekend.
Yeah, I got a couple cards. That was nice at least.
I love cards, man. I got some really dope cards, man. I got a Batman card. I got this look like a gambling card from my son. I'm not sure what he was trying to say. I got a graphic tee.
About yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
I got a what they call a creeper. I didn't know what that was until I saw it. It's
What's
a little
creeper?
So it's a mechanic. It's a mechanics. I used to call them the little under the car rolly things, but it's called a creeper. So it's a little thing that the mechanics lay on. You roll on your car to fix your car.
Got it.
Yeah, but it's
So
called
like
a creeper.
They gave you,
That's the service gift.
I'm about to say
That's
they
the service
gave you
gift.
something for
You just had to get a service gift.
You're right.
It's a great gift to get any other time, but yep.
But it's it's for me to work on the mini. It's for me to work on the mini.
With it.
Yeah.
I mean, will it go under the mini?
It will go on the mini. I'm a small guy. And I got a hydraulic jack too, so that's pretty dope. So
Don't turn that baby over.
Yep. I'm just gonna flip it on over. There you go the whole time. That's all. They got jokes, and they got jokes.
Let me change the oil real quick.
Oh my god. How was your Father's Day, Angie?
So, I mean, people joke, I am a single mom, but do people joke about the fact of like when guys wish single moms happy Father's Day? I don't take that claim. I'm like, yeah, you're a mom when you're a mom, you might step in that role and raise and everything. I'm happily divorced. I tell people that all the time, but right. I'm not going to take away from my kings that y'all are the kings that you are. So Father's Day is there. I definitely made sure I shouted out and elevated all the wonderful kings that's walking in their purpose and serving the idea of being a father, even if they haven't birthed any. So,
you know what? That's going to be a snippet. Just save it right now. What time are we at? I'm going to say the 12-minute mark.
12-minute mark.
We are definitely in a time and state where we got to recognize our kings, because y'all are walking, and in your purpose, you got to make sure that you're also serving for those people that maybe you didn't birth. So even when you're walking across that street, you see somebody else, you serving as that father figure. So I do not take that lightly. I'm not trying to step in that role as Father's Day, even as a single mom.
You know what? Fuck it, man. Fuck a snippet. We're going to play that for the intro. Goddamn. Sorry about your music, Sean. We're going to play.
Of course, if you guys are watching this, well, when this drops the next day, you guys will be watching this, but we're actually recording this show on Juneteenth. So before we get into like the really nitty gritty, let's a quick conversation, man. Quick conversation.
Is that why you have that shirt on?
Wait a minute, Juneteenth.
That shirt look like something from the 90s or something.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I've been wanting to ask you since we got on here. Like,
it's almost a Gordon Gartrell, son. It's
almost.
No, what was it? Urban Colors, I think it was.
Cross colors.
Cross colors. There we go. There we go.
Yep. See, if you know, you know, man. I've been listening I've been the angry black light skinned dude all day. I've been listening to everything from Public Enemy, everything else in between. Like all day. Just wishing a motherfucker would say something out the way. I'm like, okay, that's how we feeling today. But you know what's crazy though, and to be perfectly honest, I saw a lot of black people today walking around the airport, a lot of them, and not one person said Happy Juneteenth. Which I know what you're about to say, Earl. What is there to be happy about? Right.
And why would you say, like, you was expecting that?
No, I've been saying, like, because remember prior to this, you were saying, hey, happy 4th of July, man. So like, yeah. But not one person was like, now they made it a federal holiday and all this stuff. And there's been Juneteenth festivals and whatever other stuff is out there, but not one person. I've looked them dead in the eye. Not one person looked at me and was like, "Happy Juneteenth, brother."
Because this ain't happy day that we became free.
Right. Hey, man.
Not exactly.
Well,
not exactly.
Yeah, well,
that's why I got a problem with specific.
Yeah, the particulars.
Yeah.
I mean, the law.
This is the celebration of when the last one finally found out.
Right.
Well, no, it wouldn't be.
You mean what?
It really wouldn't be.
Hey, congratulations finding out a week later that we some free N-words.
This is just when they told the first person, and then maybe 2 years later it got back to a couple other people.
See, honestly, I would probably be that person because I don't watch the news. I try to check out on most days. So the whole right, I would be like, wait, for real? For real?
So y'all knew that I didn't have to sit over here and do this.
You could have just knocked on my door or something.
Right. Here's my question though. I saw a lot of black people still working, so apparently, it ain't that important because the bosses that be was like, hey, I know it's Juneteenth and all, but you still got to work. Ain't that ironic?
But let's be honest.
Ironic.
Let's be honest though. Come on, let's cut the shit.
Let's get it.
Martin Luther King Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many people? And I'm saying this respectfully. How many people are actually observing Martin Luther King, or are they just happy they have a day off? Let's real talk. Okay.
I got you.
So you understand what I'm saying? So it's like at the end of the day, like I'm happy I got a day off, and it gives me a reason to cook out. The same thing that I would do on the 4th, I'm going to do on Juneteenth.
Well, I actually felt some kind of way because I passed by. I'm back in Virginia. I know y'all are all in the DMV, but I came back to.
Oh, Virginia loves Juneteenth.
Well, I'm in Hampton Roads area, and they a little iffy up there. But I passed by the sign, and it was like a sign for like a area where they have like nice houses and stuff like that. And they put on a sign in observance of Juneteenth. We will be open on Monday, but we will close on Tuesday for our offices. I was a little thrown by that.
Oh wow!
And
where was this?
It's in Virginia Beach. And so definitely they are non-melanated in this area. And so I was kind of like, wait, really? Like y'all gonna give y'all people a day off, but the day after? What is that message about? So I want to like wait till they open and actually call them and challenge on it, but I'm not gonna be the angry black woman. So we not gonna go there.
I'm about to say, no matter how you come across, you gonna come across.
That is true. That is true.
Angry black woman. You can be as nice as anything.
I said it with a smile though. Cut you out with a smile,
It's so you were talking about Martin Luther King. How many people actually drive down Martin Luther King Boulevard in any state, city that you in ever?
Well, first of all, you don't want to do that because it's on the worst street in the city. So I mean that and Malcolm X Boulevard.
Lock your doors.
Honorable mention Muhammad Ali Boulevard.
Right, and then we got a Juneteenth federal holiday that was signed into law by a Caucasian president. Ain't that something? I mean, I guess it would have been worse if Barack Obama had did it, because it'd been like, you're not reading the room at all, sir. Not at all. So I guess it makes sense that it wasn't him. But I mean, it's to each his own, man. It's if anything else. What
should today be, or if we were in a perfect world, right? Mm-hmm. What would you want? How would you want people to observe today?
If anything else, I believe it's less Memorial Day. Well, I ain't seen no Juneteenth sale, so it ain't got that bad yet. You ain't getting like 50% off of air fry or nothing. But I would. If at all possible, okay, a day where people are just really going in, like you got the elders actually really like, whether it's like a conference or speech or something, and you're really going in just educating people on what this is, and two, how to really and seriously reclaim your freedom, not just on a holiday that some white president gave you, but how to reclaim your freedom financially, as emotionally. That
sounds like something more than a day.
Right. I was just about to say. So why
that sounds like a curriculum?
Why are we relegating that to just one day then?
Well, I mean,
because that's the same thing. That's the same argument that you could say for Black History. Like, yo, Black History, they gave us what, February? Black History 365. Like,
it is. I mean, you say why we regular? I mean, why do we only dress up in costumes one day out of the year on Halloween? Some people do that all the time.
So maybe I'm like the only one with like dark humor here, but wait for it. So I've always said I wanted to go to Georgia and have like a plantation home, but I was only gonna hire like Becky's and things like that to work for me, so I would own everything. So for me, like the ideal Juneteenth, we need to have reenactments where all the Black people are doing things, and then like we can go and do whatever we thought we should have gotten back in the day, just for one day. 24 hours.
So I like that. I like that.
Reversing
it. Okay. Just for one day. And we can educate in the meantime, hand out some pamphlets, but it's like we got to have the people who were pushed down. They're the ones handing out the pamphlets and doing the education.
Turn everywhere into reverse Williamsburg. That's what
I'm just saying.
Look, it's funny you said that because I saw somebody post today. They were like Hampton Roads. It was like Hampton Roads schools, specifically Newport News Public Schools, really had us taking field trips to plantations. That being Jamestown and everything else. I'm like, well, ain't this some shit?
Facts. I grew up with it, and literally we was coming home with like cotton, and it's like, what the fuck? This is like a souvenir.
That's
I'm so serious. I am 44 this year. I'm turning 44 next week, and I literally. Thank you. I literally think about that. Like, what the hell were we thinking? Wearing these little dresses and stuff. You putting your head in the thing, putting your hands on the little thing.
It can't be any worse. It can't be any worse than celebrating Juneteenth today, and then you have to reenact the slave tomorrow in Williamsburg.
But listen,
they on the payroll.
Let me tell you something. We should really put that out here on IG, because let me tell you something. If we was able to swing that, when I tell you I'll be up early, like 12 o'clock. 12 I said I need all my hours.
Time.
I need all my time.
I just want people to know that I'm gonna take a part of this, but just know I'm on your side, even if I'm inside. If you know what I mean.
So you outside.
Yeah, you outside, bro. Yeah, you outside, bro. Yeah, we got to bring y'all to the front of the congregation too. You outside, bro.
I'm so sorry, because I would like dark humor for everything. Like when people talk about the brown paper test, like I'd be reversing that real quick. We're gonna pull out the white paper. So if you even a shade darker than this piece of white paper, I'm like literally I would go in. Y'all would put me on the conference, switch it up just to kind of
vanilla paper.
Right now.
No line paper. Oh my God.
See, y'all's minds are starting to work, right? How many things could you implement for one day? Just reverse the roles.
I'm telling you. Yeah, that'd be it right there.
I don't know if we're gonna make it past to the other episodes of All Black Everything. I apologize. At this point,
you told me no filter, so I've tried to watch.
It's always the field, Negro. I don't need
trying to clean shit up. I don't need nobody cooking my meal though. I don't need.
That might be questionable.
Gonna stop for the day.
That might be questionable.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm staying away from all potato salad.
With raisins.
I didn't even say that part. I just feel like people watching this because it's called All Black Everything, and then they're gonna be like, oh my God, I don't even know. I was getting prepared for the read, and I done lost my damn spot because we talked about.
See?
Hey man, we here now.
Walk right off this joint right now.
I actually like that idea though.
How would that go? Like, would we be like? I mean, we'll get a lot of more views for the Hot Seat podcast. I'll say
I wouldn't be here doing no hot. I wouldn't do no podcast.
I'm about to say,
that's wasting time, bro.
Yeah.
No. You got to promote leading up to it. You got to lead up to this, man.
The crazy thing about it, I guarantee you, there'll be so many volunteers for stuff that you wouldn't even think. Like, you done signed up for that? Like, what? Oh my God! Like, I've always wanted to know what it felt like to be in that. You have no idea. You could be looking at this stuff like, okay, nobody is really going to do this. Yes, they are. There's a whole line around the door waiting for it.
Now, how many people are signing up to be the slave master? They might have to cap it. They might have to cap it. I'm getting up early.
Yeah. Just standing there. Who's next?
Oh.
Oh man. I got so much. Let me get this read, man.
Okay.
This Hot Seat podcast is presented by All Black Everything 24/7/365, our illustrious sponsors. Check out their line of men's and women's apparel featuring their Ace of Spade card edition, Patchwork collection, the DC inspired Love My City collection, and so much more. From hats, hoodies, jackets, and sweatsuits, All Black Everything 24/7/365 got you covered. Shop now at allblackeverything247.com. That's allblackeverything247.com. Don't chase the paper, chase the dream. And of course, you guys, if you listen on podcasts, listen to the Hot Seat podcast, All Black Everything, Volume 3, Episode 3, with our guest, the lovely Angie Boyd, our third guest we've had on here for this series. Of course, we're highlighting everything from business to financial to entertainment, everything is in between. And lo and behold, she embodies two of that off the top. That being the business side and the entertainment side. But we're going to stick to the business side first. So, Angie, I guess, unless you guys got a question right offhand, let the folks know who you are, though.
No questions? Oh, okay.
We got some questions.
He's like, I ain't going to let you off the hook that early. Well, my name is Angie Boyd, and I am... just to say the thing that always throws people, I'll put my title out there. I'm a trichologist. And people are like, a try what? So I am a trichologist. It is somebody who specializes in skin and scalp disorders and hair loss. And more specifically, I focus on natural hair. So I help our melanated people, and I say anybody with texture. So I work with all types of things, locks, braids, natural hair, stuff like that. So that's my focus as far as my business goes. I haven't worked for people for years because I don't like taking orders. So that goes with the Juneteenth discussion we were having.
Message.
But I do all things hair. So I tell people, like, I enjoy what I do. It's been like 20 years in the game for me. So I like to call myself an old school, new school. But every year I find something different to focus on. So going towards the end of my career, I started focusing on hair loss. And so that's one of the passions I have, sharing with our melanated people, because a lot of us don't realize there's options out there when it deals with our hair. So that's what I do.
Listen, I'm gonna jump right in. So
the
first thing that intrigued me was honestly your approach to it, because you can just tell just listening to you now, but especially when you're talking about the business, if you look her up and things like that online, is that you got a true love for it. You don't just do it to do it. There's a true love for that service and that help that you give, to the fact that you labeled it, I believe, therapy
sessions. Yeah,
you make it a private session and you sit back with them. So kind of walk us through that.
So
I know it's a hard conversation for a lot of people if they're really getting to the point of having that type of conversation, especially in some episodes.
Exactly. You'd be surprised. It's definitely something that's not talked about a lot, especially in our communities where we don't think it's something that is a problem. But I tell people, the slap that was heard around the world when Jada was, dealing with her alopecia and stuff like that, it became mainstream again, but it's something that's affected our communities for a long time. But when I have my therapy sessions, is what I like to call them, it's like sometimes my clients talk, and I deal with male and females. So I close the door and it becomes like a real intimate discussion. Sometimes I cry, sometimes they cry, sometimes we crying together, and then we eventually, right. Wasn't that? Yeah, that's a song. Yeah. But like the main thing is, like, I try to take a holistic approach to it, because nowadays we find that a lot of the things that are affecting us is in what we eat. It's in our environment. It's in a lot of things that's not just about hair. So people have these misconceptions. Oh, my dad was bald and my mom was bald and stuff. And I try to get people to understand, just from a discussion and things that we talk about, and maybe you're working out too much. So now your testosterone levels are thrown off. You taking creatine, and that's something that's affecting your body. Maybe you're not getting enough vitamin D. And so we turn it into like a discussion where it's not just about your hair, it's about your body. And so I educate while they're in that therapy session, just to start a discussion. And I let them know, I'm on your team. So I'm going to tell you some stuff, and you may not like what I'm telling you, but if you need to fix it, that's something that's in your control. And a lot of people walk away saying that they found out more just about their hair just in that hour that they're with me. And then it becomes a journey. So that journey now becomes a partnership. And that partnership is not longer that it's your hair, it's our hair. And I joke with people, I say, don't disrespect our hair. You know, you be out in the streets and I'm like, what are you doing to our hair right now? So
yeah.
But I can't coin that hair piece. Say, like, a lot of people use it. People are like, you need to trademark that. I'm like, it's not mine, but yeah.
Well, you actually touched on something real quick that I was going to get into a little bit later, but let's flow into it now. You know, when we talk about hair, it's normally, I would say over 90% of the time, we're having a female conversation. Mm-hmm. How hard is it to build up that clientele with us? As far as gentlemen, first off, just admitting maybe they're going through something, not just coming to you for locks or something, but like if they're really going through something, I compare it in my mind to how it's hard for us to go to like a therapist and admit that something's wrong. Same type of thing. Like, wait a minute, so I'm supposed to break down this and this person's going to help me with this. You don't understand what I'm going through. It's just stress. That's all it is, you know, or different things that we put in our hair, because I'll take you on my journey a little bit later. Yeah. But as far as just males in general, how hard is that conversation? Do you see like a decline in amount of men that really sit back and have that care, that knowledge of care compared to women?
So the biggest thing is, like, I tell people, like, my journey as far as what I do has been a long time coming. I used to manage, I'm away from now. I don't think they can sue me for using their name, but I used to manage the hair club. They have a time frame where you can actually say that you did. So the thing about Hair Club, they had a lot of male clients, and people didn't realize that there were a lot of famous people that you thought had good hair, and they no longer had good hair, but they're a way of paying for that. They were basically gluing on a lace front wig. The stuff that y'all see people wearing now, men were wearing lace front wigs. If you think about Steve Harvey and stuff like that, they had that perfect hairline. And it's like back then it wasn't discussed. They were going to places like that. And, you know, so they didn't discuss it. They just paid for it and hoped that nobody said, like, we actually had to sign a contract. If I saw one of my clients out in the streets, I couldn't even acknowledge them. You know, they had to come to me and say, hey, how are you doing? And then, of course, if they're with somebody, well, how you know her? You know, so that awkward period. But, you know, that's the one thing. Men are actually more, and I don't like to use the word vain, but men are more cognizant of how they look. You know, it hurts y'all deeper when you're starting to lose those looks, because sometimes men don't equate that intelligence with how they look. And I say it's like both parts. You know, you have to look good on the outside, feel good on the inside, and kind of combine those two. Because if one goes away, you know, what do you have left? But most of the guys now that I deal with, it's actually usually a female that brings them to me. So I usually have found this, like, that's that door opener. I have plenty of like couples that I do their services, and the woman might be losing hair or she may not. And she'd be like, you know what? I need to bring my husband to you. You know what? I got, you know, an uncle or somebody, and it's usually them that's bringing it in. And they start off like kind of standoff. It's like, I don't even know why I'm here. She want me over there doing this and etc. And they slowly but surely, as I talk to them and let them know it's not something they should be ashamed of. And a lot of times it's just because they don't know. And I like to say, when you know better, you do better. And they were like, okay, so I'm going to start putting those walls down. I was like, you know, nobody told you you're not supposed to be using this in your hair. Nobody told you you're not supposed to be putting this in your body. And so as I propose questions to them, they kind of soften up a little bit. And next thing I know, I got, you know, uncles coming in with uncles and everybody else sharing it just based on that conversation to let them know. The referral
side of it.
Yeah. And it's like, it's not being vain. It's actually you trying to take care of yourself. I tell people, like, there's triggers, and a lot of the men that we have that's younger than y'all, like, they're losing hair right now. And that's crazy to me. Have you seen like 20-year-olds walking around and like, what the fuck? You got your hairline all the way back here? Oh, it's because, you know, I was braided. Nah, that's not what it is. Like, you got people who's in their 50s, 60s, got full heads of hair. It's because y'all not taking care of yourselves. You know, what you putting in your body is affecting all that kind of stuff. So a lot of times it starts off from a small conversation, and then I gain their trust with it. So I would love to see more men in the chair. But, you know, even like when you look at those like quick weave videos, I don't know if y'all ever see like those kind of things on YouTube. Yep. Barbers have been doing that for years, but they don't tell nobody. So now it's, you know, trendy for them to post and everything. Yo, man, let me go ahead and show the picture.
Right. All of a sudden, I got the beard like Sean tomorrow.
Exactly.
Nah, this natural.
Right.
But I think you're right with that, because like I feel like men didn't know that there was other alternatives, you know, especially I would say, you know, black men, you know, because you know, our hair texture is different, but it was like, if you know, respectfully, if it's shit looking like Stevie Wonder, it's time to let it go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, so
That's
it was
big for you to
just
say that, Earl.
Yeah, it is. But I'm not laughing. So it's yeah. The reason, because Stevie Wonder is my idol. He's a family member, you know,
in his eyes.
But, yeah. But yeah, I just think like men didn't know what other options they had. So it was just kind of like, all right, well, let's cut
when
it
it
off.
starts going, shave it. Right. Exactly.
You know?
Well, I mean, I give the example because I'm gonna keep saying it. I'm happily divorced, and so if anybody wants to shoot their shot, no, I'm just that's not why I'm saying that. I actually just recently started seeing somebody, so he makes me smile. But like
I saw that post too. Go ahead.
I like it.
But so my ex-husband, he used to stress, and when he would stress, he wouldn't talk about it. And one of the things with me being in the field that I am, his parts of his beard would get bald spots. And so I would always know he was stressing because he would lose patches in his beard. So I didn't give a fuck what he was saying. I don't know what you want to talk about, what you don't want to talk about. Your beard's telling me right now, you stressing out. And so I tell people like a lot of times, you know, men, they don't want to discuss. And I was like, you better let it out or you're going to lose your hair. And so I say that in jest, but it's true because a lot of men, they tend to hold in everything that's going on and think that the world can't see it. Even if you're not letting it out, your body shows it, you know, your face shows it, your skin shows it. You know, there's a lot that can go in reflection. But I tell people like your hair is something that can say what's going on. Even if you don't have hair on your head or have facial hair, you know, sometimes the texture changes. There's so much more to it. And men actually reflect it a lot quicker than women do. So, yeah.
So what you're saying is I should have came to you before I went bald. Is that what you're saying?
I could have saved all that. Could have saved all that.
Is that what you said? But the beard is there. Though. The beard is there. So
the beard is definitely there. But see, you know, it's crazy though, because I even tell people like, even though you have a bald head, your scalp is an extension of your skin. So your skin still needs the care. So I'm going to talk to you about like what kind of sunscreen are you putting on? Are you exfoliating? There's a lot that goes behind it.
I'm light skinned. Of course I am. Yes, it's fine.
But definitely, man. I mean, you know what?
I see her face.
Well, shit, I got questions.
Yeah.
I need to get my cousin on here because I don't know if this is the Q&A segment.
No, go, bro.
Yeah. It's conversation, brother.
Right.
I mean, as you can see, I don't have
it's
a problem.
His first day. I'm sorry, Angie.
I don't have a problem with, you know, the hair on top of my head, you know. It's this right here that's been a struggle. And it's funny because me and my cousin, he's 42, I'm 39.
Okay.
And our fathers can grow a full beard. I mean, 1970s full thick ass beard. Us, this little shit right here, I ain't cut it in about 5 years. I just, you know, the barber don't even look at it. He just be like, yo. Like, it's a waste of my time.
Face. Is that what you said?
It's a waste of my time.
So I'm over here just having, again, dark humor. And I know y'all said no filter, right?
There's no filter.
You sure did.
I know what you're about to say.
Do I need to say? So, I mean, you know, like the joke.
I already know what you're about to say. Go ahead, though.
So the joke is there's special lotion that you need to put on that part of your face to encourage the hair growth.
Yeah, I did that.
No, so I'm sorry. I'm laughing so hard about that because I was like, is this a setup? Are we going somewhere with this question?
But I'm mad you called it lotion.
Lotion, yeah.
Listen, I'm going to call this out right now.
Tonic, serum, ointment, whatever.
Oh, God.
No, but
right here.
Yeah, you should look a little patchy too, Dave.
Oh God!
You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Do I need to go get some lotion? Hold on, I'll be
some lotion with a quickness. But to be honest, there's science behind that. So you're born with so many hair follicles, and they're in different places. So sometimes it is a hereditary thing. Some people just tend to grow more facial hair and everything like that. It does have to do with testosterone levels, hormone levels, and that has nothing to do with your feminine, masculine, anything like that. It's just a chemistry breakdown in the body. So there are sometimes places that's just not going to grow. And it's based on that hair follicle cycle. So when people are like, oh, just shave it down and it'll grow back. Nah, it don't work that way. Yeah. But people are like, if you get a gray hair and you pluck it out, 5 are going to grow. Nah, it doesn't work that way either. So, I mean, you can always go scientific if you're that serious about getting a beard. They actually have surgeries. You can take out follicles and implant it in there if you really want to do that. I can make you a lace front beard if you want.
The good Lord bless me with this dread, so I'm good.
Beard next week.
I'm good. I'm good.
Give me the address. I will make you one this weekend and put it.
I'll put it on slowly but surely. Have it like right here,
right? Just a patch at a time. People think you're growing in. Start off with a little mustache.
You looking good.
We can color it in the wintertime, put a little freckles in it,
Not color it though.
I love it. What I like about this conversation and what you do is because of course we see, people still watch commercials because everything is streaming now. You see all of the Rogaine stuff and stuff like that. And of course, one size does not fit all.
Correct.
And that's what she said. And I know it's coming out. So the fact that right, you ain't lying. That's why I got a beard. So the
happy wife, happy life.
I said something when we were talking about the whole Juneteenth bit and what we discussed stuff like that. And part of that I was talking about was the emotional aspect. And that ties into the confidence portion that you have a lot in our community will be more willing to pay whatever that subscription is to get that Rogaine or what is the new thing they got now? I said it's another newer like hair regrowth thing going on instead of actually going to someone in the community who specializes in what we're doing. It's like going in like I think I've heard the women in my family always say, hey, don't put that in that baby hair. You're gonna mess that baby hair up because not everything is made that way.
Right.
For as long as I've known you, and maybe I just didn't know this side of you, but at what point did I think this aspect of your life where you put this out front and center that, hey, we need to have this conversation and I need to provide this service to our people?
Honestly, I would say about maybe 10 years ago. As I said, like half of my career, I've always specialized in natural hair. So probably, I'll say about 10 years ago, I stopped doing the creamy crack services is what I like to call them. I don't do relaxers or any of that kind of stuff. But I've always focused on teaching people to, I guess, respect and enjoy their natural hair. So myself, I have a big afro. I wear my hair. I've been natural even before it was trendy. But I always taught people about having health in their hair, having pride in their hair, whatever you got, learn how to work with it, that kind of stuff. But then as I started working with a lot of people, and especially as I started getting into some of the communities that I was with, like when I was in Northern Virginia, realizing that people like were kind of put down for how they wore their hair, or they had to look a certain way to get a certain kind of job. I had a lot of like my government workers that were my clients and they paid me for their services, but they're like, well, I can only wear it like this on the weekend, stuff like that. So they became discussions. So I always focus on finding something good that you like about yourself and I make you love it. That's my biggest thing. And from there, I started educating people. As I started educating more people about what was going on, I realized that there was a lack in the community of knowing that they had options, especially when it came to hair loss. They were so used to, if I go to, like, I just throw out where I worked, the hair club. If I go there, well, I'm going to have to wear this straight wig that's going down my back. If I'm a Black person, I now have to walk out the door and then have my barber service. So I actually had a lot of restrictions when I was up in the area for things that I knew I was capable of providing and the things that the person who was in charge would allow me to do. So I actually quit that position and became more of an advocate. So I did stuff on the side. I worked for wig boutiques and things like that, but I made sure that they ordered stuff that looked like the people that looked like me. So when they came in, and they will always be saying like, well, nobody really wants that. No, you don't want that. You don't want us to look like this. Well, nobody really wants to spend that money. No, you think we don't have the money to spend on the stuff that we need. And so unfortunately, I'm probably in that smaller percentage. Piggybacking on what y'all was talking about earlier, like people who are spending money on certain things instead of the things that they should be. I would love to say I'm a millionaire, but I'm not. I do it for the purpose that I love it. I am passionate about it. I love educating. I love helping the people that I can, but unfortunately it doesn't always pay my bills. So I will say that people tend to go down the list of the trendy things, the things that they know is not good for them, but it works for them. And so as I started to kind of get on my bandwagon a little bit more, I just realized in life, it was just my purpose. Anytime you run from the gift that God has given you, he'll take it away. And so I tell people like, I know what my hands are meant to do. Sometimes my clients watch me and they're like, I don't even know how you figured out how to do that, but it did it. I call myself a hair grower. I have blessed hands and things like that. And it's like, it's almost a reward for me to be able to heal other people through that gift. So even though, like I said, we have other sides of things that I like to do as far as talent wise, I find my purpose in life is more so healing people through their hair. And I call it holistic because I work with people one-on-one. So I find out what it is that they're lacking and I try to pour into them to where they're lacking. So sometimes it may be a conversation that they need. Sometimes I find myself, I don't know if I'd say testifying, but I'll share my stories with them to kind of make a connection. I've had men and women that, sometimes it's like they don't even realize I have not sat still for 10 or 15 minutes. And that 10 or 15 minute shampoo where I'm making sure that they're getting essential oils put into them. I'm using products that they're smelling, that relaxation of my touch. They're like, I haven't even had something like this done for me in a year. And a lot of times when you don't realize what you're missing, you don't even think about the little things that you take for granted.
But so I have a question.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of a pet peeve of mine. So
all
right, well, it's kind of two, but I'll start here. So I know like with Black women, the natural movement is we say we're about 5 years old or so, somewhere
I
around
go
there.
with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Most people got woke when pandemic hit.
Right.
They couldn't go to the salon anymore.
Right.
So.
and that and this was like one of my issues because like especially like with Black women, it was like, do y'all not realize? I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying.
You good.
Do y'all not realize that society wants to be like you? So
say that again for the people in the back.
Society wants to be like you, from the lips. They get the lip injections to
the hips,
to the butt, to the legs. I mean, to even the skin. Like they want to have that tint, that hue, and it's like, why are we conforming to meet these European trends of what they say is beauty? And it's like, and honestly speaking, this is my second stint with dreads. I had dreads when I was
Do me a favor. I respectfully ask everybody to say locks. There is nothing dreadful about your hair. I want you to say locks. And you'll be in my store and my salon in my chair. I have a storefront. So I tell people, most people pick on it probably by the 5th or 6th time that I say it. They were like, oh, my dreads. Yeah, your locks are gorgeous. Oh, no, I need to like straighten out my dreads. Yep, your locks are looking wonderful. So I keep correcting it, but I tell people like, I'm not going to mess with it. There is a way of saying dreads. Most of the time it's like in the UK and stuff like that. It's a certain thing that goes behind it. But definitely my kings, I try to tell them your locks. There is nothing dreadful about it.
That's easy. I didn't even think of it that way, but that's easy.
You good. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut off your story.
I'm listening. I'm thankful for the education.
Knowledge right there. Yeah.
Absolutely. So this is my second stint with locks. I had them in college. And honestly, I cut them off because I was going online. So I thought they was gonna make me cut my hair. So I was like, I ain't say which one.
They coming to get you.
Make a top five. Thanks.
There you go. Yeah.
They gonna make me cut my hair. But anyway, I'm joking. But so I thought I was gonna have to cut my hair or whatever. So I was like, you know what? I'd rather just do it myself. Mm-hmm. So I ended up, finishing and whatever, got into the workforce, and I said, and I'm in education. And I just like, you know what? I'm about to grow these locks back. Cause the thing that I hated was I'm like, I'm not up here trying to perpetuate, this stereotype, or like I don't want to be conformed into this lane, Right. So this is exactly why I grew my locks. And I would hear some of my friends like, yo, you gonna do like yes. And I'm gonna make sure they're the most aggressive. I want you to be uncomfortable because I think like the other problem is too, we're always trying to fit in. We don't want to make them uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Like whatever they say is right. No, this is my hair. And especially too with the kids at our service, a lot of them have locks, so that makes me more relatable because I look like somebody, that they can see themselves in, so it's just been one of my pet peeves and things of that nature. But going back to with the women, I just never understood like why women would wear like weaves and straighten their hair, and then all that does is do damage to it. Like I see now where a lot of women are forced to go natural because of all of the chemicals and just the damage that they've done to their hair. Correct. So I just want to know what your thoughts are.
Definitely, when you know better, you do better. And like I said, that's what I say. So a lot of people are educating themselves now on it, and then they are being forced to go natural. Mm-hmm. But on the other side of the coin of what you were speaking, 9 times out of 10, because of what you just said about them being so enamored with what we do, with how we look and everything like that. But the people who are actually guilty of making women feel the way that they feel about their natural hair is us. Mm-hmm. I can actually tell you example after example of the women that I've serviced, and they're like, well, my husband won't like this when I get home. I used to wear my hair in this huge big fro, and that's what I was known for. I still have all the hair, but I definitely, as I got older, I calmed it down and stuff like that. But it was usually the people who was like, well, that works for you. I got questioned when I went natural. People asked if I was lesbian. People asked if I had cancer. People asked, if I was going through things. So the judgment in my own community of the people who should be looking at me saying that's beautiful were not the ones that was doing it. It was when I was in still corporate America working at the front desk, the Megans and Ambers that were like, oh my God, your hair is so beautiful. Those were the ones who was praising me, saying like, you're so brave for embracing what you have. And again, still also in the male community, those are the people who's like, yo, bruh, if you are wearing your hair like this, you're going to be judged as a misfit. You're going to be judged as this. And it's just because they didn't have the freedom to do the stuff that you're brave enough to do. And so a lot of times I tell people, you have to listen to what your own self is saying. I have clients and I tell them, I say, I don't care what style of natural you are, just as long as you're natural and it's healthy. So I have people that do blowouts on. I have people that do locks on. I do braids. I do, protective styles and things like that. I just care that you're not killing yourself with the chemicals. You're not killing yourself with not taking care of your things. Like you said, the young ladies, I feel bad for the generation now that's gluing on the wigs and things like that, because they're going to be forced to see a trichologist like me when they get to be my age, because they don't know better. Our generation, we actually took the time to find out stuff. And yes, we followed the trends, but we still did stuff in our time. Now it's just about pretty much doing it for the gram or doing it for, what somebody else is judging you for. And I think if more people took the time to just say, am I happy with this? I had a client just last week, and I actually had to talk with her husband. And she has long, gorgeous hair down past her shoulders. She's natural. She straightens it with the blow dryer, but she has curly hair. He loves her hair. I love that he loves her hair, but she takes hours to do her hair. So she asked me just to give her a break. She said, can you just put like a protective style, which if y'all don't know what that is, it's like braided up just so she doesn't have to do her own hair. We put like a little bit of a crochet braid in her hair. So it still looked like her. And that's my thing. I don't make anybody look like Muppets. It just looks like a better look of them. So she came home and he refused to even acknowledge how beautiful she looked because it was not her hair. So when he came back, I had a nice little talk with him because I said, I'll say it with a smile, but I'm cussing you out at the same time. And I was like, my dude, like for real, your wife came home beautiful and all she needed was just one accolade from you to say, oh, you did something new with your hair, blah, blah, blah. And he said, well, it's just not real hair. So I don't want to acknowledge nothing like that because I don't want fake hair. And so my conversation with him was, are you going to take the 2 hours it takes to detangle her hair? Are you going to take a little bit of the other time to wrap her hair at night? Are you going to do this? And I started walking him through the motions. And he just kind of looked at her and he was like, I didn't know it took all that for you to do your hair. And she's like, you didn't bother to ask. And those are the kind of moments where it's like a therapy session turned into like a whole family counseling thing because it was more than just the hair, because all he saw was like, I want her flowing hair down her back and everything. And he had to take a step back and see that it was just more than her hair. She was stressing out. I can't get to work on time because I'm doing this. I got to make sure dinner is cooked on time. And she's still trying to do all this and look beautiful. So that's still going along with what we were talking about, the fact that, you know, a lot of times people are not looking at it from the aspect of it's not more than my hair, but I'm also trying to people please in the same thing. So
that's why I advocate for people just get dread. I'm locks.
I love that you thought. I love it.
But you know what? Even at a young age, like I've always looked at it. Women, specifically women who had dreads. I'm not even gonna say just natural, but specifically women who had dreads, because I understand. I'm sorry, locks. Thank you. Women who had locks.
We're gonna get you there
because I understand having locks. I know the process. You know what I'm saying? From short, you know, having to grow your hair out. Then everybody hates the startups, you know, the little starter locks. Everybody hates that stage and things of that nature. But when I see women who have to start that process, they have to like let the new growth grow to get all of the chemicals out and everything. So like their process is even more extensive than it would be for somebody like me, right? So when I see women who have locks, I look at them differently because I'm like, yo, you have a certain integrity, your personality, like you know what it means to go through this process. Like can
I bust your bubble? Can I bust? I'm gonna bust your bubble real quick. I'm sorry. So there's a wonderful thing in the world that we do called lock extensions.
Nah, so I ain't talking about. I'm talking about the real one.
Half of these women and men that are walking around now who are following the trend. I have a gorgeous young lady next to me, and she charges $1,800 for 12 hours. You can sit there, and she has the same locks that you have right now. You would not know. So I'm be honest, unless they tell you, they may or may not have gone through that journey.
Oh no. I mean, but there's some that I've seen the journey, like
go through the journey.
Yeah, but I know people.
I just had to throw.
Oh yeah, I know it's a real thing. I know people who have lock extensions, and to each his own, you know.
Yeah, we have counseling sessions about that because I know how to do them, but I talk everybody who comes in my chair out of them.
So can I ask you a question with that then?
Yeah.
Why do they want to skip steps?
So most people, again, it's about the look thing. I'll give my sister as an example. My sister, my grandmother had a lot of things to say about her when she was locking her hair. She kept asking her like, well, when is it going to look decent? When are you going to comb your hair? You know, all that kind of thing. I know people that they call it the ugly stage. I said, I've never seen a texture I don't like working with. There's never been a texture that I don't think is beautiful. So I'm probably biased, but a lot of people will look at it. I don't want to go through that ugly stage. And so they tend to put the judgment of what other people are going to say. So I have women that start their locks. They may put a wig wig on for a whole year until they think that somebody is going to say something positive about how they look. So a lot of times it is not about that connection. And that's what I try to educate and preach, because especially when you're locking, and I tell people, like, I've never had locks. I hate my hair straight, but it is natural. But when I've blown it out in years, and I'm waiting for it to rain because I love the texture of my hair. But I've never locked my hair. I think it's because I have a fear of commitment. Like I said, I've been divorced twice.
But see, that's what I'm talking about. Go ahead. All right.
But the main thing is, like, that journey itself, you learn a lot. It's not even just about the locking process. Most people don't realize the connection. You learn if you have the patience to go through it. You learn if you can have that determination to go through those steps. You learn about the education of what products do I use in my hair? How can I wash it? All of that. And 9 times out of 10, most people realize they're not built for that. So I get what you were saying when you're saying it, because most people are like, oh my God, like, you have to go through all this. And then I have to tell them from the other extent, it is low maintenance, not no maintenance. So I got those people who's like a year later, yo, sis, I ain't washed my hair in a year. Yo, nigga, I can tell. Like, like, that is like the worst thing ever. Like, you walking in these streets, like, well, I locked my hair so I don't have to do nothing with it. That is not what that means. Like, not at all. There's a balance between the two.
Right.
But no, I get what you're saying. And unfortunately, you have to get into the head of somebody, because with what I do, like, I tell people, it's so far beyond just hair. You know, whether it's like I'm dealing with somebody who's natural and transitioning, whether I'm dealing with somebody who is like growing out their hair, trying to decide what their look is, even when I come to the hair loss person, it is so much deeper, that connection that you have with your hair. You know, once it's gone, it may be something that triggers it. You know, you may be connecting. I've had people that, like, well, I thought my texture was going to look like this, because they think about maybe their mother who died, and they're like, my mom had this kind of hair, so I thought if I grew out my hair, it would look like this. So people don't realize sometimes that hair connection is a mental thing, you know, whether it be good, bad, or ugly. You know, when women stress out, we lose hair in clumps. I tell people, nutritional changes that are going on, you lose hair in certain spots, and that's some things that you have to deal with. So it goes so far deeper than just the hair that's growing on your head, that you kind of look at it like, am I going through something? Am I dealing with somebody? Am I having a change? You know, I think one of the twins, Tia Murray, she just put out where she cut her hair, and the whole Instagram post is about her saying, like, after so many years, she sheds all of her emotions through her haircuts. Wow. And she thinks about the fact of, you know, she has a story that goes along with it. You know, when my hair got to this length, I can remember those things that I'm going through, you know, maybe the roles that she played, all that kind of stuff, the children that I had, you know, she connects that.
The fellas already know that I live a life that everything happens for a reason. And I told you at the beginning of the show that I felt like you were particularly on this show at this specific time for a reason. Now, I already got permission to have this discussion with you beforehand. And I don't know how much the fellas know, but my wife, my queen, actually has suffered from alopecia for years, plenty of years, as far as hair loss in certain areas. And, you know, even though I'm there for the upliftment, for the you know, the rubbing on the back, the constant motivation and I guess you could say like reaffirmation in a certain type of sense, as far as you are still my queen, no matter what is going on. You know, when you have that internal struggle within yourself, because, you know, you live through your looks and your hair and things like that. Right. It's a big battle. And for what the fellas don't know, my wife is actually doing the big chop this week, as far as her hair, natural wise, either Thursday or Friday. So that's how soon we're coming up to it. But it was a process. This has been a discussion for a while, and, you know, kept on getting pushed back and things like that. And I'm never here to question. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you know, because that's your own, even though that's your personal journey, kind of like you got to admit something to yourself. It's not me to push you in this sense. It's there for me to be with you. Now, I wasn't there for the original consultation of specific things, So, but I do know, went through the process of going up there, interview process. People don't even realize that there's an interview process, a breakdown in a way, because sometimes certain things may not mix, or you might not be at the stage that you think you may be at after that discussion. So I remember her going up there for that conversation, and she had the scalp test, finding out the root cause, hair pattern loss. There was a bunch of scarring. She also had her thyroid, half of her thyroid taken out years back. That was a part of it. So was that the endocrine? I think they said endocrine disorder. Yep. So she has a hyperthyroidism.
Thyroidism. Yep.
He froze.
A little bit.
Let me make sure I'm in there.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
back
good
in?
now.
Okay.
You back in.
I'm safe this week.
So,
all right.
So yeah. So through that right there, I know the discussion through the dieting and certain things that you put in your body, which a lot of people don't think about when we're talking about hair, but it's a big part.
I would love to have a consultation with her. I don't mind talking with her if you would like to reach out, because a lot of times I have conversations that also open up, even though she is seeing somebody. I'll put that
right. So I was going to ask you in that sense. And then, like I said, she's going through the big chop this week. So is there anything particularly that, I know you say you speak to the person going through the journey. What about the person that's not specifically, is there any words of wisdom, even on my side, certain things to look for within the journey, certain things that definitely do, I guess you could say, in a sense, that I may be informed of?
To be honest, you can be the biggest support system just by listening. That's probably one of the biggest things ever, because a lot of the times she doesn't want you to respond to what is going on. She really doesn't want anybody to respond to what's going on. She wants to feel as normal as possible through this transition. And so sometimes when you think that you're giving a compliment and you think that you're pointing out something, it's something that she may not even want you to notice. So my biggest advice to you is kind of follow her lead. If she's like, oh my God, this is horrible, she may not necessarily say, no, it's not, baby. It's not horrible. She doesn't really want your response in that. She really wants you to listen. You may open up that conversation and say, well, what's horrible about it? I kind of like it, but I want to know, what do you not like about it? That becomes the discussion so that you can kind of know how to go with it. A lot of times the encouragement is the biggest thing through that process, because it goes, again, so much deeper than just a hair, just a new look. If you're doing research, that shows that you care about it, not putting your opinion in it, but maybe giving her more information. Hey, I heard the doctor talking about such and such and everything. I looked this up. Did you know about such and such? And now it's a conversation. And now it's something that you're now concerned with. Not, oh, well, if the doctor told you to do it, go ahead and do it. Then it becomes more of, a lack of emotion, a lack of understanding.
Right.
So my biggest advice for you is be involved in it and not necessarily put your opinion, because when women lose their hair, they feel that they've lost all control. That's the one thing that we had still control of. And so she doesn't want somebody else making decisions for her. So whether it be that she decides later, I want to wear a wig, whether she decides later, I might want to go get some scalp tattooing. She has options of things that she can do, but she also doesn't want to feel like somebody is choosing how she should look, if that makes sense.
Okay. No, and that's why I told you, even when she's been discussing it for a while now, I never pushed on the fact that, why haven't you done, like it's been a while. I remember when you was, I kind of knew to, just let it be in a certain type of sense. But it's a big
but there
journey.
Is balance.
And a lot of people don't know.
A balance.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that is, especially if you're on the other side looking in, it's that question mark of what should I, kind of like a woman going through birth. Like you're there, but you ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, no, definitely. Girl? And I would say, as the loving husband, I would definitely make sure you're involved with, just giving your opinion if she asks for it, but don't be standoffish about it either. if you find out information, share, be connected in that journey with her as she's going through it. And then, like I said, if you have questions, you know how to talk to your wife. Just make sure you don't say it in a disrespectful way. But again, she's going to go through those days where she might be questioning herself. She might cry. And the worst thing you can ever say, I'll just leave it here. Don't say it's just hair.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds simple, but that's one of the worst and hurtful things. And I'm going to go to the extreme of somebody who is going through a cancer loss, somebody who medically cannot control it. The last thing they want somebody to say to them is like, well, you're still living. It's the same thing. They don't want you to kind of put down their emotions based on that.
It's very dismissive.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But there's options out there for her, and you would not even believe the leaps and bounds we've made technology wise, where if she is trying to look a certain way, it's out there. She just has to find it. So if she's wanting her natural hair to look a certain natural way, they have plenty of fleeces that you can put on. There's people like me, we do specialty sew-ins for people who literally have no hair. Like I said, scalp pigmentation, it's basically a tattoo. So I think, again, this is something that's been done in the outside communities that now we're starting to learn that our melanated people didn't know even existed.
So I know you talked a lot about, I'm sorry.
Appreciate that, by the way. Go ahead.
You're welcome.
I know you talked a lot about the health aspect. What are you putting inside of your bodies and things in that nature? Could you just speak a little bit more to that? Like what are things that we, especially us, we should be putting in our bodies that can help promote hair growth? What are things that we need to stay away from? Even
Absolutely.
Like what are some of these like chemicals, that Black folks use? I mean, I think about even my son, like, they have the pink moisturizer lotion. I'm old school, so I still put Vaseline in his hair sometimes, so
Oh God.
Right,
God.
So
please stop that immediately. Please stop that immediately.
When I can't find nothing else, I'm like, oh man, let me just throw something on it.
Wow. Dad, make it happen.
So this is what I'm saying. Could you please educate me, please, and our listeners?
Definitely. So it definitely starts on the inside and it comes outwards. So one of the things that I educate as a trichologist, they have weekend courses where you can learn as a weekender and call yourself a trichologist. But I'm a certified trichologist, as someone who's studied for some time. I'm actually almost done. I have to pass this test to be internationally certified. And so I'll be actually focusing on helping people on so many other levels. And there's very few Black internationally trichologists. Okay. So the thing is, when we go into that detail, we're not only talking about the hair, we're not only talking about chemicals. I learned how to formulate products. I also talk about the nutritional side of it. And one thing that people don't realize is that when you are eating certain things, it triggers certain things inside of your body. The body has a way of telling you that something is wrong. Most people rely on the doctor to tell them that something's wrong. They rely on blood tests to tell them there's something wrong. But we take a second just to say, I'm not feeling good. If you take a second, you may not know what it is, but you know it's not normal. And the hair does the same exact thing. So I tell people, when you're starting to shed hair, where you've got bald patches and things like that, you may not know that it's lupus. You may not know that it's cancer. You may not know that you have bipolar disorder that's going on because your brain is sending out signals to it. But you know something's wrong and it wasn't normal like that. Right. So those are the kind of things that I tell people to start with. The body looks in cycles. So I tell people to think I simplify it when you come to see me. So I talk in seasons. It takes about 3 months before you actually see that something's wrong. Once that trigger has happened, it takes another 3 months for you to correct it once you figure it out. So whether it's something that's nutritional, whether it's a medication that you did, whether it's something you put into your diet or something you took out of your diet, it takes one season for it to affect you, and then it takes another season for it to correct yourself. So if you think about it that way, something that you're going through and you start to see that change, it's something that happened last season. So let's say you decide you want to go vegan, and all of a sudden you cut out all your proteins, you cut out all your nutrients, you're no longer eating seeds and dairy and everything like that. If you started that at the beginning of the summer, by the fall, your body might start freaking out and your hair starts coming out and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Then you finally get it together and you know how to do your nutritional supplements and you have everything put in order. It's going to take you until that winter time because now you've gone through a whole nother season and you corrected it. So I just tell people simplify it with that way, if that's the easiest way for you to think about it. But sometimes in our body, when you are going through things, the last thing that your body needs is the hair. So you're going through something and maybe you're having a heart condition. You're going through something and your livers are starting to shut down. You're going through something and then maybe your kidneys are doing something. The body is going to save all of those reserves and get rid of the things that they feel is not necessary. The first thing is your hair. The hair is the last thing that's going to get those nutritional supplements. So when I tell people, when I talk about nutrients, it's because I want you to pour more into it because I'm trying to save your hair. So when the doctors are looking at ranges that you're low in vitamin K or you're low in vitamin D, they're not thinking at it from the aspect of I'm trying to save your hair. They're trying to save your body. So me as a trichologist, I go even deeper into it to make sure that you're able to keep your hair itself. Gotcha. I give people just the quick example. If you start to lose hair in this band of area that's around here, closest to your face, that's actually a nutritional deficiency. When people talk about they're losing their edges, they have hair that's coming out, they have hair that's shedding, it's something that's off with your nutrients, whether it be that your vitamin B is low, your D12, those kind of things are going off. So I tell people that's a trigger. Go see your doctor, at least get a blood panel so that you know what supplements you need to take. Right, it may be just something that's simple. Yep. Something just as simple as adding in some beans or leafy greens, and then all of a sudden it comes back again. Once you start going towards the back part of your hair, back here, that's when it starts to go into hormonal triggers. And that could be something as simple as like you start doing an extra workout and that creatine powder that you're taking is starting to mess with your testosterone. People don't realize something as simple as that you're going in and you're doing all these proteins. You've done a protein overkill and now you're losing your hair. It's not that protein has made you lose your hair, but you may have had some kind of hormonal imbalance. And so something as simple as changing that up. So that's when I say it has more to do with your hair.
Gotcha.
That being said, when I go into details about us specifically, the Black people that I deal with, and I've had people where I've given them the answers and they still won't do it, it's usually the commitment. When you come to see me, I talk about 3 C's. You have to be compliant, you have to consider cost, and then you have to be consistent with it. If you can't do those 3 things, you're not going to help your own problem. But I put my people on a restriction for 30 days. For 30 days, I ask for you not to eat red meat. I ask for you not to do dairy. I ask for you to take out nuts. And then I also ask for you to take out any kind of refined sugars. I had a mentor, she made a joke, and we're all going to laugh because it's Juneteenth. But she says, if it's white, it's not right.
That's true.
And it's not from a racial point. It is from your dietary concerns. White sugar has been bleached. It has been taken out of it. You know, when you think about flours, those are carbohydrates, potatoes, those kind of things are things that when you put in your body, it's not processed correctly. And those are things that can affect your hair. So I tell people, you know, those potato chips, they look so good on the shelf, but they are white. You think about a lot of the candies, a lot of the medicines that you take.
One of his favorite things right there. You just took that away. See?
But the thing is, for those 30 days, it's usually that I'm trying to figure out what are the triggers for you. Right. I've had people that after that 30-day mark, once we are trying to figure out, we slowly start adding in those things. So it's not saying that you can't have it, but you have to figure out what is it that is your trigger. So I've worked with people and we find out they might have a gluten allergy. You know, it's actually called celiac disease. If you are having too much of the gluten and the flour in your diet, we took out all of that. Her hair started coming back immediately. I had a guy, we come find out he had really high sensitivities to sugar in general. So he started doing more of like the monk fruits and things like that as he weaned it back in, and his full hairline was coming back in. So, but then I have the other people and they're like, well, no, I got barbecues going on. I got this. I can't actually do all that. I'm sorry. Like, so
that's it. Yeah. Maybe
when I say like, Right. I cannot make this stuff up. I had a story, and there was a lady like that. I gave her a full 6-page report telling her all the stuff. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to get back to you at the end of the summer. And I was like, wow. All I needed was 30 days.
It's real. And that's not just a couple people. That's every.
Right.
I could tell you right in my mind. If you said that to me right now, I'd be like, so we starting this after July 4th.
I'm about to say that's big.
So, and then after that, I'll be like, oh, so I got my anniversary and so on so.
Right. Right.
Well, homecoming's about to be around the corner.
Right. You have to weigh out the things that's important to you. Yeah. But I mean, the thing is, like, when most of my people, when I get them to do that for the 30 days, about 50% of them, they will say, I feel so good after doing this. I don't want to go back. I tell people I cut out red meat and pork probably about 4.5 years ago. And I did it because I actually thought it was going to do some healthy things for me. I thought I was going to lose weight and all this other kind of stuff. It did not do the effects that I thought it was going to do. But to be honest, I never even missed it anymore. I found so many alternatives and stuff. I'm actually scared to go back. Even if, people are like, oh, religious wise, you did it. I was like, no, I just wanted to do it. But now I don't even miss it. But like joint health is a big thing when you cut out a lot of those kind of things. So not only for the hair, you realize like you might have no more brain fog. You might find out that you no longer, stress out, headaches, things like that. And something that you started on this 30-day journey with, it becomes a lifestyle change.
Lifestyle. Yep.
Is it a fair assessment to say that you, and if this is incorrect, my apologies, that you were influenced somewhat by Dr. Sebi?
So here's the thing. I am one of those weird people that take stuff from everywhere. Gotcha. I am a lifetime learner. I call myself spiritual because I grew up as a Christian. My dad is a minister, but if you see behind me, I got this lovely young lady. I believe in the chakras. I've got a crystal. I've got Bibles. I've got all that kind of stuff from the spiritual side. I will, pray over you and praise God. And then I'll say, Zen, and I need to have my chakra moment at the next. It's the same when it comes to my education. So I do a lot of studying overseas. I've gotten a lot of my training from the UK and Australia, but then I also will follow down the rabbit hole of seeing what's the newest thing that people will say like, oh, well, you need to Google this. So I have a mixture as far as my education, but somebody did challenge me one year to follow some of the stuff that he had. And I had never heard of him. And this was probably like 5 years ago. And through that, I definitely learned a lot, not only about myself. It opened up, I'm also a practicing herbalist. And so it opened up a lot of things that I had no idea. And so with like Dr. Sebi, he was talking about the things that we put in our body has a lot to do with our heritage. And people don't realize that. We try to treat stuff that's meant for the Asian culture, or we try to treat something that's meant for the Hispanic culture. And you're wondering why it's not working for you. And so I tell people, you have to listen to your body. You have to listen to the triggers that are going on with you. So something that might be preached about by somebody else, you don't have that in your body. So why are you trying to do what they're doing?
And that's, so it's funny. It's funny you said that because like I remember so, COVID, the pandemic slowed everybody down, and this was during the time, actually, when I found out my father had cancer. I'm so sorry. So from that point, I mean, it's life. From that point, it made me take a look at the stuff that I was eating. And this is coming from a person who burgers was my life. Like, Dave and them know, like, burgers was my life, So to the point where, like, I cut out red meat, Now every once in a blue moon, and I literally mean like every once in a blue moon, I might dibble and dabble. But to be honest, the times that I do go back, I hate myself, and I'm like, this is disgusting because I haven't been eating. No, yeah, and because I haven't been eating it. But then also too, and I'm kind of like you in the sense of, especially when you talk about the nutrition, like. I really gravitated towards Dr. Sebi because the thing that he was saying was Black people are lactose intolerant. There's a reason for that. We because we don't eat this stuff. When you go back to Africa, it was like we wasn't eating meat. We was eating plants and vegetables and things of that nature.
Right.
So it made me think. And then even to the point of I tried it out and I said, you know what? I do feel a difference. Like I
Yeah.
I am thinking a little bit differently. I don't have that fog. I
Yeah.
feel energized, when I get, my sea moss or whatever. I get the proper sleep, and things of that nature. So I did see, my body changing. Now I got to get back to that because I've fallen off, but
Never too
I,
late to restart.
but definitely like I did see the benefits of it, and it's not even really just about just like weight loss. It's just about just being healthier.
Yeah, life is not promised to anybody, and so I definitely try to preach to people, like, once you realize what you should be doing, and especially how it makes you feel.
Right.
I don't think it's by any accident that when you get enough sleep, when you get enough water, you can read your own body. That tells you
Absolutely.
that you're in its healthiest state. But it's
Absolutely.
even better like when you can share it with other people. So
Yep.
I tell people, like, it's a generational thing. Unfortunately, I can't get my own kids to stop, like, with the pork and the beef and stuff like that. So I got 2 skillets going on in my house.
Yeah.
But
But
I've told people I'm not going to force that lifestyle on
right,
people.
right, and that's the same thing with my son. I mean, he's about to be 5, and there's some things that I'm like, you know what? It's a little forced, but you don't even know it, so it doesn't
Right,
feel
right.
like a force. So, like, perfect example, like I drink water. Like 90% of the things that I drink is water. I don't drink soda, but I'm specific. I drink spring water.
Mm-hmm.
And if when you drink a lot of water, you could tell the difference between
Oh
spring
yeah.
and purify, and even just
Mhm.
the different brands.
Oh yeah.
So that's just something. So like something like that,
A good
I
old Dasani.
incorporate. Yeah, that's disgusting. But something like that, I incorporate with my son, and even as a 4-year old, like
Oh yeah, it
he would
starts
say, "Can
early.
I have some water?" And even to the point of like fruits. I try to stay away from like genetically modified fruits. So I try to make sure that my fruits have seeds. Now, watermelons, I make sure that they have seeds, and it's very hard to find watermelons with seeds. And a
So
lot of
I
people,
just took a gardening class, and they told me that even the seedless ones, they're just so small
uh-huh.
that they're there. So if you actually plant a watermelon that's supposedly seedless, when it breaks down, it actually will have some
Oh,
seeds in it.
really?
I didn't
Oh,
know
okay.
that. Like, my
See,
mom
I
went glum.
didn't.
So,
Yeah, I didn't know
sorry.
that. No, but
Had
that's
to
why
throw that in there.
I try to, I try to find, fruits and stuff like that, you know, uh, that has seeds. And then I started doing some research, and I saw that, those seeds have benefits.
Right.
Um, even the skin of a lot of these fruits have benefits. So, just trying to educate, myself and things of that nature. But I know in terms of my son, I would rather him, you figure out your journey, but I'll sprinkle a little stuff here and there, just to let you know that there's other
What
things besides McDonald's and things in that
definitely
nature.
you have to pour in, because if they don't know that it even exists, they're not
Hmm.
going to start doing it. So
Right.
definitely, if it's a lifestyle, like with my children, I had been eating red meat and stuff like that, so it was kind of weird to them. Like, what? You're not eating this anymore? You're not? Why?
Right.
Like, that kind of became a discussion. So it was a changeover for me. But definitely, like, I still get my kids to understand, the differences of what I do. So I would say still be an advocate for it. To
Right.
me, McDonald's is probably one of the worst things ever. my
Hmm.
my youngest is 10, and it's crazy because during COVID, we didn't eat out. I was still up in the DMV area, and you know how they shut us all down where you couldn't even
Hmm.
leave the house or none of that kind of stuff.
Right.
Here in Hampton Roads, they were a little bit more open, but
Mm.
like, I cooked everything, and the kids had to get used to not having Chipotle and stuff like
Right.
that. When the first time we went back out into civilization and actually ate food, they were like, "This is
This is
gross."
disgusting. Right.
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 Like, I'm
Hmm.
like, are you kidding me? And so they started to understand about palates, like the fact that
Hmm.
my palate should be tasting this. This is what this real food tastes like. I was
Right.
growing salad on my patio for a little bit. I had lettuces and peppers and stuff like that. And they're
Mm.
like, "Oh my God, this is so amazing." We took a project. And so when I think about stuff like that, it's definitely about us kind of pouring it forward into our next generation, because they
Right.
have to understand you can grow your own food. You can actually educate yourself, those kind of things. And the things that we can't afford, that's a bonus.
Absolutely.
Just my
So I'm So I'm gonna educate someone because this being June, and of course we can't relegate, what we do in society to 1 month. But this month is actually Black Music Month, call it what it is. So for the viewers and the listeners, about 13 years ago, roughly, almost 13 years ago, 13 years ago, this young lady walked into my studio loft. She walked in. She was introduced by a gentleman by the name of Cabana Black, who I knew at the time. She walked in, and it was like, "Hey, this is Sean. Hey, this is Angeline at the time, Angeline, and we want you to in this case, I don't want to say produce, was already produced, the engineer her first single." And she got in there. I still have the videos and everything to this day.
Wait a minute. Did you say studio loft? This was the loft time.
Yeah, this was the loft. We go back.
We go back that far.
And she walked in, and I found out some things. I found out to somebody the name of the song "You Ain't Nothing," but actually I have it down. I should have had it queued up in the play, but she put it down, and and we talked about a lot about balance and your journey and everything else. Which when I found out this part about you, I found out something more about you than I already knew. I didn't know from the music side, and it was just amazing to see. But for those who don't know, and I'm not sure, and I know, you went into the band aspect and stuff like that, but Angeline is a fantastic R&B artist. She's official. And she is official. She is registered and everything else in between. I want her to speak on that and from a serious point, this being there, what music.
Oh wow, he done changed the title screen on everything. Y'all saw that slug.
He does that.
Yeah,
he does that.
What music is to you?
So it's amazing that you pulled that out. Yes, 13 years ago, I say I have alter egos. And this was a side, it was there before, but I never really connected the two of my passions together. I tell people, like, of course, things are an extension of what you do. And, God puts different talents and gifts into you and everything. So when I was in Hampton Roads, the first stint of my life, I was not really appreciated. And that's where Sean and I met. And it was like I was doing my thing vocally and everything like that. And I was actually told I couldn't even sing in that area. And when I came up to the DMV area, I actually for 10 years was on the stages on H Street. I was like the local Beyonce. When I got up to the DMV, they told me that they did not know that I was known that I wasn't from Maryland, DC, because they said I had this little Virginia twang. So they took Angeline and they shortened it to Angie. So I was Angie when I was in DC, and I performed with a couple of bands up there. Black Orpheus was one of the bands. There was another band called Real Time. We did a lot of shows up in the Upper Marlboro era. And so I was like a superstar up there, and I loved music because it was like my alter ego. When I got on the stage, it was just another extension. I'm probably just as passionate with my music and my writing as I was talking about hair, but I separate those two. So when I came back after being happily divorced, I said that is that time number 3, I think. Yeah. Okay. So when I returned back to Hampton Roads, I kind of had to put away the Beyonce, and I'm now back to just being who I am in Hampton Roads. So I will honestly say, like, there are 2 things that make me happy. Music is one of them. I would not give that gift up for the world, but definitely it's not as appreciative when I'm in Virginia as I was in the DC, Maryland area.
So can I have
hold on real quick on a personal level, because
what's up?
She opened up with something, and that's why I had to ask Sean. So I know that studio loft pretty well. and during that time period, and because I lived down in the Hampton Roads area at that time.
Okay.
So I don't remember. I remember Cabana Black. I do remember that name. I don't remember running into you. So we'll get back to that conversation on a later time period, unless this was just a one-off. But then, secondly, I know you said you came back down and put the Beyonce to the side.
Yeah.
You got it still right.
I do still write. I definitely miss the stage. It's been about now 2 years since I've been on the stage. And so I just try to pour into my business more so than anything, because I think like when you're a performing artist, you could get depressed if you start thinking about what you're not doing. So I kind of tried to just say it's another purpose and everything like that. My one of my friends was like, well, you can sing to me while you washing my hair. But you know, I did say, you know, eventually I'll probably start getting back out there, you know, Instagram or something like that. I'm not too old, but you do realize that you have dreams and then you have real life and, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Sean, attach that single to the show.
Absolutely.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know you had the music side, so now that opens up a whole.
Shoot.
So okay, could you describe if there was and I know that we don't like to compare ourselves to others, but I don't know you. So could you describe what artists you mirrored the most?
Oh, wow. To be honest, so of course everybody's like, I'm not comparable to anybody. No, but no, a lot of times when I was performing, I was likened to Stephanie Mills is one of the biggest thing. I have a very high range, so I taught myself how to sing at 5, but I was usually doing like Mariah Carey songs. So those were like inspirational pieces. But then like as I got a little bit older, I started doing more of like the inspiration of Erykah Badu. So it's kind of a combination of those two. People are telling me I have that bedroom voice, but I also, you know, kind of bring in some of the soul to go with it as well.
Okay. And it's funny because I don't know why.
That's where the lotion came from. Go ahead.
What you about to say, Earl?
Oh, that must have stuck him right there. See that?
It must have. It must have stumped him. Oh, he dropped it.
That was real right there. Like, I wasn't ready.
Lotion.
I wasn't ready for the lotion.
Lotion.
Oh my gracious, man. Of course, this is the Hot Seat Podcast, All Black Everything, Volume 3, Episode 3, with our wonderful, wonderful guest, the gorgeous Angie Boyd, Angeline, Andre, all this, all this. But for the purposes of the wonderful businesswoman that she is there, Angie Boyd there for Sincerely Beautiful, of course, there. So, Angie, where can the folks find you? How can they get in contact with you? Everything else in between, let them know.
Well, even though I am in the Hampton Roads area, that is like a 3-hour drive from the DMV. So everybody who's listening to the podcast, I would love a visit. Y'all can come and see me in Virginia Beach. But I like to give education and lots of information on all my social media platforms. So people follow me on Instagram. It's the business. It's Sincerely Beautiful, and it's sincerely with a Y because doing hair is my Y. So it's SYNCEREBEAUTFUL. Sincerely Beautiful. I think I spelled that correctly. I was like, yeah, I think that is. But yeah, and then like I have a website. So a lot of people, if they go on my social media, it'll link them back to the website. I tried to do the YouTube thing for a little bit because, you know, people come into my salon and they were like, well, that girl on YouTube. And I said, you know what, this year I'm going to be that girl on YouTube. So maybe y'all can listen to me. But I have not successfully done that. But at least if you want to reach out to me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, it's the Sincerely Beautiful. And I do answer people. So it's just me. I'm a solopreneur is what like people call. So when you call on the phone, you're going to actually get me. I'm not big time. I don't have an assistant or any of that kind of stuff. Maybe one day.
Look here. I just can't wait to go upstairs and let my baby know that in order to grow my beard, I need some more lotion.
So lotion with the quickness. Lotion.
Oh my gracious. And of course, this podcast wouldn't be what it is, man, if we hadn't taken our 15 plus years of just Xbox Live conversation. This is how we talk playing video games, Angie. This is really how we do.
That's how it started. Okay.
Yep, and the pandemic hit, and we decided that, hey, let's make some good use of our time, and we turned it into a podcast. And now we're here for all you guys listening pleasure. So, of course, you can find me on Xbox Live, man, at Sanaa2X. Enjoying some video games here and there. A lot of new stuff are coming out. We're in that dog days of summer right now, so there's no new sports games as of yet. So I'm catching up on some things like my RPGs and stuff along the lines. Just hanging out, doing stuff like that. Some PGA here and there. And I'm playing the hell out of Street Fighter 6 though. I love it. That's every once in a while when I get a little aggression out. There you go. So now 2X, man, on Xbox. What you got, Dave?
Look here, the storyteller. Forget gaming for a second. Make sure you go out there and check out the new Spider-Man movie. Go out there and check out the Flash movie. I'm excited for Mission Impossible coming up. Just trying to think of anything else there. But hey, real quick, because we didn't do it, I know you got it there. Hit me with the not so breaking news.
Oh, we got it. I'm glad you did. Remind me on that.
There's a reason why.
Not so breaking news.
So, not a specific article, but just how do you do it? We just came off of Father's Day. Did anybody ask how Nick Cannon enjoyed his Father's Day? You have to be Santa Claus, my brother. I mean, how many households do you have to go to? They said he spent it with, I guess, does he have twins or something out there? And I guess their birthday, yeah. I think their birthday runs into Father's Day weekend, and then he had to jump somewhere else and stuff like that, and all the moms got a picture together. That's a lot going on. So, fellas, and Angie, you could jump in on this one. How do you decide on which Father's Day with so many children who you about to spend that day with? Or do you just say, forget it, it ain't about the children, it's about me. I'm a father.
Pretty much, who give you the best gift? That's pretty much at the end of the day. Who give you the best gift?
I'm trying to reach out to me at this point. Like, listen, send my gift here. You want to take me out? Y'all can collaborate. However y'all want to do it.
Put some names in the hat.
Yep. Or I could do like Dion.
What are the same? I'm about to say what are the same name whenever you got to take it out.
They're doing an NBA draft lottery on that joint. Who got the best eyes on that joint? You know what I'm saying?
Dion be ranking, so I say why not?
Hey, I was just checking, man, because I was thinking about it for a good minute. I think they even had it on TMZ. They're like, yeah, Nick Cannon spent this day this way, and I was like, man. There's a lot of kids left out right there.
That shouldn't have been a hard day to maneuver, though. It should be more so really like Christmas.
True. I don't know. He make it work. I don't know how, bro. But
as long as he's there one way or another, he's doing better than most people that just got one. Just saying.
I ain't gonna do that. Earl, plug yourself, brother.
Yeah, I'm sorry. NJ Fatboy 973. I don't have any games I've been playing. I don't have time. But my fault because I cut out. What I did want to say, Angie, was you were giving me Neo Soul vibes. So it actually makes sense that you did say Erykah Badu. Mariah kind of threw me off, but I have a thing with her. I don't really vibe.
Oh God.
Yeah, you don't feel the Neo Soul vision of love,
no,
brother.
I don't.
Oh my God, that's where she started.
Nah, I got an issue with her. She left us. But anyway, we ain't gonna go down that rabbit hole. But yeah, I did. You were giving me Neo Soul, and that's cool because, like I said, I'm Dave. Who's my favorite Neo Soul artist?
Jill Scott.
Jill Scott. You know, and when I think about her, it's poetry. And then songstress, and then she merges that. So and that equals or equates to a hell of a performer, you know. So like,
especially with that mic,
Wow, you went there. You went there. I thought I
started off with lotion. I had to end it with that.
Oh my God, we're not gonna talk about Miss Jill Scott like that. That's what we're not going to do.
Hey.
I was actually just listening to some of her music today. She's one of my favorites.
He gonna watch the video as soon as he get off here.
Every time she comes to New Jersey or the tri-state area, I'm there.
Aww.
I've seen her about good 9 times. I feel like I could be a background singer and perform a show. Like it's
okay.
I'm there. So I'm there.
Man, of course, this is the Hot Seat Podcast, All Black Everything. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook at the Hot Seat Podcast. And of course, subscribe on YouTube at the Hot Seat Podcast. And lastly, but not the least at all, we appreciate our sponsor, All Black Everything 24/7. Make sure you shop allblack247.com for all your really needs, man. Again, we appreciate the wonderful Angie Boyd coming on tonight. Hey, we're wrapping up. This is a big episode 3. So, man, we're right along, and it's getting bigger and bigger, man. We appreciate you guys.
It's
a hot seat. Yeah,
wait. Hold on. I wanted to leave with this parting word. Angie, it was a pleasure meeting you. And I know your passion, and you're doing the Lord's work by educating us on like just hair health, and everything that goes into it. But I did see a gleam in your eye when they said something about the music. So I just want you to not put that to the back burner. At some point, you need to revisit that. You can do both. Well, that's all I had.
I like to. Well, let's see. Recently, I have been telling everybody, I don't know if y'all remember the group 702.
Absolutely.
So, okay. So again, things happen for a reason. But my theme song for this week, I was singing in the song. So I'll give you lyrics. You just never know. Don't put it off till tomorrow. Today, make it last forever, forever and always. You just never know. Don't put it off till tomorrow. Today, make it last forever, forever and always. There you go.
Let me tell you something. Okay. So again, you're using your gift to educate people on health, hair health. You need to use your gift for music.
Listen, okay. I'm about to go get a shampoo just for no goddamn.
Okay.
Babe, I got out of a bait.
I appreciate that message, and I am so honored to have been on here with you guys, because sometimes just having those candid conversations with people, you never know who you're reaching with. So I again thank all of you guys for giving me the opportunity.
Appreciate you.
We appreciate you. It's the Hot Seat. Yo, we out.